Hello, I'm Dave Speakman. Today I've got my good friend and professional drummer Hugh Lawrence along, and we're going to be comparing some bass drum microphones. We've got all the usual suspects: the D112, the Beta 52A, the Audix D6, and we've got a few other ones that are less common. So we've got the Telefunken M82, a Sennheiser MD421, and we've also got the boundary microphone, the Shure Beta 91A. So we're going to compare these. Essentially, we're going to use them all as kick-in mics. I'm going to use the same position for kick-in, apart from with the 91A, which will have to go inside the drum. Hugh's got this lovely Liberty bass drum that was custom made for him. It's a 20x14.
That's right.
And you had it built for you by Liberty, who endorse you, don't they, with your...
That's right. Andrew up in County Durham, yeah, he made me this lovely kit. Really
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
Hugh has a company as well making Simbo mutes. Check out Hugh's company. If you need mutes for your cymbals, that's the place to go. Great, so we'll mic the kit up and we'll get on with getting some sounds. Cheers. So the first mic that I've set up is an AKG D112. Probably the most famous bass drum mic. It's kind of the go-to, really. Some people, they don't like it these days because there's bigger and better microphones. I'm still quite a fan of it. I think it has a particularly good sound. We're going straight from the microphone, straight into my AML preamps, which are Neve clones. I'm not doing any EQ, I'm not doing any compression. You're just going to hear it as it is. I would imagine it'll get compressed a little bit by YouTube as it goes through that, so there's nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. But everything will be treated exactly the same, so you can compare to some extent. It's not going to be mega scientific. I've not got the tape measure out, seeing how far in the diaphragm is or whatever, but you get an idea of the different flavour of each microphone. By no means is one of these microphones going to sound best. It's just going to be best for a given scenario. I'm going to switch the kick EQ in now. So I'm going to switch the kick EQ off and switch the high boost in. This is more for using it as a vocal mic, but we'll try it and see how it sounds. So I'll switch the EQ boost back in. So now we've got the high boost and the kick EQ in at the same time. Okay. Notice that I'm being very careful here to make sure that the microphone lead doesn't go against the drum skin, because that creates a really, a truly awful sound. Okay, so this is with the EQ switch in. It's worth noting actually that the 91A requires phantom power. It's used a lot by live engineers, particularly on big stages, because it goes in the drum, it's out of the way, there's barely any chance of it ever feeding back. So fantastic microphone, but it's a different type of microphone this. It's a boundary microphone. Just threw it in because we've got one here, so we just thought we might as well have a listen to it. So it's interesting coming back and listening to the sounds again. All the microphones sound really as I was expect them to. Each microphone has its own flavour really. There's no winner with any of them. It's just whichever one suits you for whichever purpose you want it for at the time. I personally use the M82 or a D112 or an Audix D6 as an inside kick mic, and I tend to use it further in than I was using it in this example here, and that gives me more of the clicky sound, more of the beta sound really, the attack of the drum, and that attack is what helps the kick to really sit well in a mix. The sound of the 52A, the Beta 52A, is a wonderful sound, really bassy and chubby, but not a particularly usable sound for a mix unless you were using it with an inside kick that was giving you that clicky sound. So I quite often use a 52A as an outside kick mic and then use an inside kick mic as well. I can totally understand why people use the 91A, the Beta 91A. It has that sound of a live kick drum mic, really. It's kind of finished, isn't it? It's scooped out in the places that it needs to be. There's lots of weight in the bottom end, a fair amount of click. So it gives you the sound, it's kind of quite a finished sound straight away out of the box. I really enjoyed listening to the 421. Again, I might use that on something like a jazz recording if it was a smaller kick drum. To get a really natural sort of boppy bass drum sound, the 421 might work really well. There are a few other kick drum mics that I've used before. Sennheiser make one that's similar to the 91A, which is a fantastic mic. There's a dual diaphragm one that's made by Lewitt, I think. They have one of them up at Edge Studios in Macclesfield. It's a fantastic mic. I've used that. That sounds great as well. Really, if you were choosing a kick drum mic, I think if you just want one mic for gigging, if you've got plenty of money and you're alright and you want to mount the microphone in your drum, it's your own drum, you're going to mount it in the drum, leave it there, the 91A is what I would go for. That's what most people who I gig with who have mics mounted in their kick, that's what they use. They use the 91A because it's probably the best all-rounder for things like that. If you're starting out with recording, probably the D112's the one to go for, or the D6. They're kind of the go-to standards that you use all the time. All the rest of them, they all have their uses for different things. Yeah, so it's been an interesting comparison anyway. I hope that you've learnt something from it. I certainly have. Please do like the video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps with everything. If you enjoy content like this, please do let me know in the comments below. We'll make sure that we're doing more things like this. I've got lots more ideas for other videos. My beginner guitar course is continuing. That comes out every Friday. I've got some other ideas. I've got some multi-camera zoom content that I'm thinking of doing. If anything like that would interest you, please do let me know. If there's anything that you'd like me to do a video on, please do let me know. I want to make this channel as useful as it can be to all of us. Great, thank you for watching.